Hi Harsh,
Hi Akash, what's up? How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
All good, all good.
So currently you're working or like you work in corporate?
Yeah, I am in a full-time job in a typical corporate job. Yeah.
What's your like position?
So I work in a consulting firm and I work as an analyst.
Oh, okay, okay,
It's just been 2 years since I've been in a job.
okay.
Yeah,
Let me introduce myself.
sure.
My name is Akash and I have a YouTube channel called Trying to Know Cinema. And I live in Jalandhar, Punjab. But
Hmm.
we are actually Nepali. We speak Nepali at home. Never been to Nepal. Someday we will go. I don't know. So I want to become a filmmaker. That's why I talk to filmmakers, editors, cinematographers, and I'm also working as a web developer in
Oh,
in Punjab only,
so is it a remote job or your company is in Punjab
in
only?
my hometown, Punjab, Jalandhar.
Ah, okay, okay.
That's
Nice.
yeah.
And since when have you been doing this?
The podcast or job?
Let's ask both.
Okay, so I had a YouTube channel like long ago, like my during my college 2 or 3 years
Hmm.
ago, but I used to at that point of time I used to do edit movie analysis. But I have started podcast in this year, January, 1st January.
Oh, it's quite recent, and but your channel has a huge list of podcasts with
I
I don't know how
I
many
do
indie film.
I do every day. That's why.
Oh, that's why I mean, and these are all indie
Yeah.
artists, and I don't think there is any other channel who is covering so many indie film
Yeah.
artists. So I think you're doing a great job at that.
Thank you so much.
And how old are you? Just by the way, I'm quite
23.
curious. Same, I'm 23 as well.
Okay, great. And I started working 2 years ago. Like this first web, it was my second anniversary.
Okay, so right after your
Yeah,
college, you started
yeah.
work.
I started LPU is I was doing a master
Mm-hmm.
MCA in LPU, but I dropped out. So but it
Oh,
was tough. I couldn't manage. That's it.
oh, so you started your job without completing your
Yeah,
graduation.
yeah. It's rare. It's rare because
It is quite rare, yeah.
getting a job after BCA it's quite rare.
It is, yeah.
So I got lucky. You can say.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So let's start. Yeah.
Yeah.
So my first question is, what inspired you to become a filmmaker?
Uh, so just to give a little context, like I had zero relation to art in general before college. Before college, my life was all around football and gaming. And at that point of time, for me, an ideal life looked like कि मेरे पास एक job है and I'm earning enough to buy myself a PlayStation 4 and yeah, I'm just happy with that. It was by sheer accident that in my first year in college that I got into the dramatic society. So I had a huge stage fright and I could not even imagine myself anywhere near to performing arts. So in college, when the dramatic society auditions happen, they happen in a group और बीच में auditions हो रहे होते हैं. So I was just spectating it one day and I suddenly got pushed. मुझे पता नहीं मुझे किसने धक्का दिया and I was there in the circle and one senior asked me, "Oh, do you want to try?" I had nothing to answer and they just pushed me and I gave it and somehow I cleared it and yeah, since then I have been practicing theater for the past 4 years, and that was my foray into not filmmaking but stories in general. And after graduating, I was still continuing theater with my job, practicing theater on the weekends. And one day, what happened? I was at my home. It's in Jaipur. I'm based in Gurgaon, and I found a DSLR just lying there. वो खरीद रखा था हमने 2017 में कि फोटोज खींचेंगे बट देन अच्छे फोन्स आ गए बेटर कैमराज आ गए सो इट गॉट नेवर यूज्ड तो मैं ले आया उसको वहां से एंड आई स्टार्टेड रैंडमली क्लिकिंग फोटोज एंड suddenly felt like I really want to make a film. It was not one of my priorities before that I want to be a filmmaker, but something happened and I started reading about cinema, reading about filmmaking, listening to all these podcasts of directors, and it really intrigued me. And midway through my job, it was a really frustrating phase where I could not get any time to create something. And in that frustration, I wrote this. This is my first film. I wrote a two-page ka script, and I thought, let's make a film. And during that time, I was also preparing for a play, and there I just talked to two or three people who I knew that okay, they might be interested into filmmaking. So one of them was my DOP who used to shoot ads. मैंने उसको pitch किया, he liked it, ठीक है. Then one co-actor, I was acting in that play. I pitched it to another co-actor. He said, "Yeah, let's go for it." And there we had a team of four, and yeah, we made this film in 6 months. And I don't have an answer for you that what inspired you, but I think what inspired me to tell stories was theater. It is only that my medium has changed to a camera. And yeah, I made one film and I want to make many more because I really liked doing what I did. Yeah.
So, which course have you done? Like in during your graduation?
So it was Bachelor's in Management Studies, BMS, and I specialize in finance.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Have you done any course related to films?
No course. I mean, so when I was in my dramatic society, it was like doing a course in theater and doing my actual degree on the side because I was reading way too much about theater, books, books on theater, books on acting, books on craft. So I was an actor first, and I transitioned to being a director in my final year. And from there, I realized that I want to tell stories other than being a medium to communicate them as an actor, right? And yeah, I have no formal training as such. It was just through self studies and reading books on online which are free, available for free, reading books on films. And yeah, no prior experience in filmmaking or any course.
And during your acting days, were your parents were okay? Like you are doing acting?
Please, okay, as in?
Like your parents encourage you or said no, you should focus on your
Oh,
studies?
it's not like my parents discouraged me, but they also did not encourage it because till date, what they expect out of me is still the same typical corporate career that, okay, you get a job, you work for 3 to 4 years, you do an MBA abroad, and you get settled. So, till date, they are not entirely okay with me devoting so much time to filmmaking, but they are letting me do it. So, it's fine.
So how the idea for 2 BHK came? Like screenplay.
All right. So, I'm assuming you have watched it by now. Yeah. So, uh, as of now, a lot of my thoughts and ideas stem from where I work. क्योंकि मेरी जॉब मेरे दिन के कितना 10 से 12 घंटे ले जाती है. So naturally, it has a huge, not I would say influence, but it is there for a majority of the day. So मेरे thoughts are constantly revolving around that. And there is this thing which I notice in my office is the urge to do a small talk. It happens outside office also, but in the office where it's that 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 environment which gets created, that अगर मैं किसी के साथ 2 मिनट भी बैठा हूँ, I can't sit for silently, right? It gets awkward, and people in that setting are not good with dealing with awkwardness, so they start saying anything just to break that silence. And that intrigued me because so I'm also constantly looking for content in my office कि ऐसा क्या है जो मैं बना सकता हूँ उस पे, because it just intrigues me. So small talk was the initial starting point, and it eventually came to the our the inability to deal with silence. I've noticed this in people within office, outside office, and I realized that if I were to left alone with somebody, there are many few people in the world whom I can share silence with. मैं अपनी मम्मी के साथ कर सकता हूँ, अपने पापा के साथ कर सकता हूँ, आई कैन डू इट विथ माई पार्टनर, बट इफ इट्स एनीबडी एल्स, आई थिंक either me or that person will break the silence just for the sake of it, right? uh, and that sort of pushed me to write something because that was very interesting and I was willing to explore it. And for me, the closest thing to relate was where I live in. I live in a 4 BHK with three other flatmates, and all of them are in a corporate job. And I imagined a situation that okay, दो flatmates हैं, and they're sitting in a living room. Light goes off. They have nothing to do. क्या होता है? That was my initial two-page का script, and then after numerous drafts, it evolved into what you saw. So yeah, inspiration was small talks.
How long it took to write the film, like properly?
So this is my first time writing. I think I'm a bad writer because I can only think in visuals and audio. मैं आपको बता दूंगा मैं क्या देख रहा हूँ लेकिन मैं लिख नहीं पाता. So I started writing in June and we started shooting in August. And it's not like I was writing continuously because I had my job and other things. So beach mein intermittently I was writing, but it was like 8 drafts of writing. So what was happening that I used to write something and discuss it with my team, जो मेरी 4 लोगों की team है. I get some feedback and then I write again. So it was a back and forth process. So you could say 4 to 5 months, and it's not even that long. It's just a 7, 8 page script. So it shows that it's my first time writing.
Okay. And to complete the film, how long it took? Shooting, editing.
6 months.
Oh,
6 months. We finished it in I think December end. And again, since we could only shoot on weekends, that shooting period stressed quite a lot. And since I could only be with my editor on weekends, that also stressed a lot. So effectively, it was a 4-day shoot, and editing took a month. Yeah.
like it's really well edited. I have to say that. Like the editing
Oh,
part is
thank you
really
so
well.
much.
Like, were there any particular films which were inspired while making it? Because I was seeing and I could sense a chunking express kind of inspiration.
I'm curious, why do you think that?
Because there were voiceovers and the camera movement.
Okay.
That's why.
All right. So, there was no particular inspiration for this. And I try not to have any because, I mean, there are so many good films out there. And every time you see a good film, you feel like, मुझे भी कुछ ऐसा बनाना है, right? And when I was writing this film, so I usually don't watch a lot of films. I don't think I'm a cinephile. मतलब उसके दो कारण हैं. पहला तो ये कि I'm not able to make out time for watching these films, and I genuinely want to. Like I haven't watched a single Kurosawa film. मैंने सत्यजीत रे की सिर्फ पाथेर पांचाली देखी है, and मैंने गोडार्ड नहीं देखा है, मैंने फेलिनी नहीं देखा है. So there is there is this huge watch list which is keeps getting longer, and a reason for that is I have this fear that if I watch too many films, maybe my vision will get restricted to just those. And होगा क्या कि फिल्म बनाने की इंस्पिरेशन ना दूसरी फिल्मों से आएगी कि आपने वो वाली देखी है, हाँ मुझे कुछ वैसा करना है, एंड देन यू ब्रिंग इन द आइडिया. एंड आई एम जस्ट वेरी स्केयर्ड दैट मे बी इफ आई वॉच टू मेनी फिल्म्स आई विल स्टार्ट डूइंग दैट. सो या आई डू वांट टू वॉच फिल्म्स बट एट द सेम टाइम इट्स नॉट लाइक अगर मैं नहीं देख रहा तो मुझे बहुत फोमो हो रहा है. बिकॉज for me, if the idea is coming from within me and my life, I would prefer that over making it similar to any other film. But now that you say it, I do like Chunkin a lot because मेरे को in general narrators और voiceovers वाली films बहुत ज़्यादा पसंद आती हैं. And yeah, I did watch Chunkin ऐसे बीच बीच में बार बार just to see how does Wonka Wai writes, because it was first time that I was writing, so I did not inspire from it, but I did like it a lot. and maybe subconsciously it went in that way.
Okay. So currently it's screening anywhere. It's
So I have done a few screenings. It's mostly physical screenings, not a very huge audience. I'm trying to approach film clubs who are screening this film. So I've done one already. One is happening this weekend in Delhi. On Saturday, it's happening in a film club in Bangalore. You might have heard of it, the Parallel Cinema Collective, TPCC, right? So it's screening there. And another is Vikalp screening, Vikalp Prithvi screenings. उधर भी एक बार हो रही है. And I've applied to a lot of film festivals. It's just that the results are yet to come. So yeah, it's not out there anywhere, on any platform.
so the future is you will upload it on OTT or in your YouTube channel.
But I have zero idea. I'll wait for at least a year that it completes a festival run, and उसके बाद देखते हैं what all options do I have. I don't know if an OTT will take it, because camera quality is something which we took a hit on because it was shot on normal DSLRs. There was no Fujifilm or no Sony, or it was a zero budget film. I had a DSLR, another friend had a DSLR, we took it. एक के पास वो जैसे आपके पास ये माइक है ना, उनके पास भी था a sound system. So we used that to record the sounds, and we shot it in my flat. So there was zero cost for this. The only cost I'm incurring is festival submissions and promotion.
So what's your future like? You want to become a filmmaker or you want to continue your job?
I definitely want to make more films, but I'm not sure that will I be able to do it full time, because I have a very specific motive for making films, and I make it only for myself. It's quite a selfish motive, but I think art is a selfish endeavor. Like I'm not driven by some outside cause that, okay, I want to make a film on riots, or I want to make a film on some political event that happened. For me, the inspiration comes from my life or some story which I find interesting. So as of now, how I see it is that whenever something strikes, I'll make a film on it for sure, and I'll use my earnings from a corporate job to finance my own films. That's a very vague plan, but I don't think I can pull it off full time as of now.
So currently are you writing something or shooting something?
Yeah, so I was writing a film before this 2 BHK also. It was a feature film, and it was something around the corporate structure only. मेरे को वो मेरी ड्रीम फिल्म है, अगर जिस दिन बनेगी आई थिंक आई विल हैव अकम्प्लिश्ड एवरीथिंग, क्योंकि मुझे आई रियली वांट टू मेक इट. And I stopped it midway for 2 BHK over. Then I'm writing it again now, and there is another film which I want to write. And yeah, so it's 3 to 4 projects going simultaneously at the moment. But yeah, they are very at a very nascent stage.
Okay. So please do recommend some films and filmmakers which inspired you.
Uh, Again, as I've already mentioned, I'm definitely one of the lesser film literate people on your podcast. It's not like I'm recommending some very niche film. Uh, I think all of the Martin Scorsese films, especially with the voiceover, they are my favorite. Taxi Driver, Goodfellas, Casino, Departed, and recently the Killers of the Flower Moon. I absolutely love them because मेरे को बहुत ही मजा आता है देखने में when I can see the psyche of a character through the voiceovers. I think it's a great tool to have a narrator and a voiceover in any film. It's just interesting to see that. Apart from that, there is a Swedish filmmaker called Roy Andersson. Roy Andersson, yeah. So I like him because he has a very specific way of showing life in urban cities, somewhat like Kaurismäki, but even more dull and more desaturated. And I first and came across that filmmaker when I was in my first year. is his movie is Songs from the Second Floor, and I'm sure it's something people haven't come across. It's a difficult watch, बहुत slow है, but I think it's an effort worth taking. So Roy Anderson would be one. Uh, Apart from that, I really like watching Fight Club. I mean, it's a movie I revisit again and again and again because it's just so much fun watching what Tyler Durden thinks. And again, my favorite movies are always the voiceover ones. I really like Gangs of Wasapur. I really like Pyasa, and Chunkin Express, definitely. I've watched it a lot of times, and I'll always recommend films that I want to come back to. It's not a one-time watch, but these are the films I keep coming back to because there is something always there to learn and discover more. And one thing that I like about these films is that so there's a story and there is you as an audience. And whatever is happening in the story, there are two kinds of actions. First is something that the characters know, and the second is the characters don't know, but as an audience, you know because the director made it so. कि किसी का खून होने वाला है जिसका होने वाला उसे पता नहीं है, but as an audience, you know something is happening. So in these kind of films, the writer and the director both give that leeway to the audience to feel empowered that there is something that I know but they don't know, right? And it just gives the audience a an upper status that I can judge these characters. The characters are flawed, and I like seeing flawed characters because if it's too perfect, I'll start losing interest. They're not closer to me. So even if it's Chunkin Express shot in Hong Kong, I can somehow feel that those characters are very close to me, closer to home. So things like when he says that I like to run when I'm sad, it somehow feels very close to me or something I've felt before. So uh, I like movies which have layered characters, which have flawed characters, and which makes it more human. And yeah, I think yeah, these are the films I'd like to recommend.
Do you read books as well?
I do read books, mostly non-fiction. I read a lot of philosophy. Uh, I read Dostoevsky. In fact, actually, I don't read books very regularly. In my third year, I directed a play which was inspired from Dostoevsky's novel, Notes on the Underground. And from there, I started reading more philosophy, Kafka, Nietzsche, and yeah, but mostly non-fiction.
Okay. Have you ever thought about being an actor, like working as an actor in films professionally?
Um, so before direction, for 2 years I was only acting. So even in my third year, I acted, and I swear that's the only thing I wanted to do at that point of time. And I really want to be an actor. It's fun, it's challenging, it makes me know myself better. But as and when I shifted to direction, I felt that there are so many stories out there which I want to tell, and I won't be able to do it as an actor. So yeah, and what you said that in films, that's a very far-fetched thing. Honestly, I don't even see it happening as of now. That will I be a filmmaker full time? I don't know what will I be. It will be something between a side job and a filmmaker, and I'm making time to make films. But as of now, I can't see it happening full time. But yeah, if I have an opportunity to act again, definitely I would want to act.
And the role of theater in your life, how important it is?
Uh, for honestly, it changed me altogether because it was my first introduction to art, stories in general, and my roots and my base of storytelling is built over theater. So for me, it is still not filmmaking 100%. I'm sure there are still things which I took from theater and put into my film, like those white room shots. Those are something which, those are the kind of images that uh, working in theater gives you, because that's the kind of thing we create on stage. So theater still plays a lot of role in my craft as of now. And in terms of life, I think it has given me an identity which I did not have. That no matter what happens, I'll always keep thinking visually. And I don't need anything else to drive my stories. It can be just my visuals. So I think visually theater empowers you a lot to imagine a lot. Yeah,
Thank you so much for joining. Had a great chat, and I've seen the film and I really liked it because as I
you so.
as I told you, it reminded me of Chunky Express because it had also slow movement as well. The when you both were circle, yeah,
Right, right, right. Oh, in the last scene, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
that's a also
Oh, the jerky
yeah,
motion you're
yeah,
saying, right?
jerky, yes, that's a
I was scared that somebody will say कि यार ये थोड़ा चंकी सा लग रहा है, but हाँ, बनाते टाइम बिल्कुल भी दिमाग में नहीं आता कि वो यार something like this has been done before. But yeah,
but it
thank you so
comes out very beautifully. So
thank you so
currently
much.
it's on the next Saturday. It will be premiering on a film festival as well.
Not film festival. So I've applied to a lot of them, but उनके results अभी आने बाकी हैं, आने शुरू होंगे. But these are film clubs who screen films regularly. And okay, so on Sunday it's actually sort of a festival because it's screening with a lineup of four
Yeah,
films.
because a photographer is also there.
Yeah,
That's
photographer who clicked blur
yes.
pictures. That is screening within that lineup. So you can call it a one-day film festival, but it's not a film festival. Yeah,
So thank you so much for joining.
no worries. Thank you so much for having me. And I don't know how you discovered me because it's
Because I was
the
following Anamika ma'am because her film is also
घोड़े को जलेबी.
Gori Vachalevi. Yes. So she
Oh,
uploaded that. Sir.
oh, all right. I was very surprised because it's not anywhere. It's not on any film festival. It's not even started running anywhere. So thank you so much for having me. And I really like your podcast. I watched that one with पुकार के दोनों पार का डायरेक्टर का नाम क्या था? सौरभ.
Parts or
पार्थ सौरभ. हाँ, I really like that one. And it's amazing. You have this whole army of videos and it keeps on increasing. So keep doing this. It's great and it's a great resource for learning as well. Yep. Thank you so much for having me again. Yes. Okay. Bye bye. Good night.